Yeah. Cool. Hi guys, thank you so much for joining us tonight. This is what we call BOE, Business Owner Education. This is one of the trainings that we put on, along with the other things that Launch Runway does. If you're not familiar, we do business owner, entrepreneur training, taking somebody that says, hey, I have an idea about a business, all the way to launching your business and provide mentorship and support afterwards. We've also started a red tire program, which is for people who are getting ready to retire, but they're not giving their business to anyone. They actually want to sell their business, keep it alive, keep it going, instead of closing their doors. And then this year, we also started the Ask the Expert series, which is coming back in 26, but in a slightly different format. So we are planning for those things this fall. On the 28th of October, we'll be graduating a brand new group of entrepreneurs who will be going out and starting businesses in Adrian, Tecumseh, and maybe a couple other towns in Lenawee County. But tonight we're here to talk about, hey, if I have a downtown area business, how do I make sure that people are coming into my store, especially during these big events that some of these downtown areas are having, such as Adrian's First Friday, Lumpkin is this weekend. So how do we maximize our impact on that? And I don't know if you're aware, this is Bryan McEldowney. He's pretty new to our community, and we are so lucky to have him because he comes from Cincinnati, much bigger market. And he was like, this is what I call him. He might call himself something else, but I call him a marketing strategist for the tri-state area, right? Ohio, Kentucky, and Indiana. And so he served on those teams and he helped make that happen. And he's got all of the cerebral power that most of us don't have when it comes to marketing.
Setting me up for failure here.
So, when new talent comes to town, we want to use that new talent. We want to tap into that new talent to help us do better in our roles. So I want to introduce Bryan to you, and he's going to take you through the process over the next 2 weeks. So next Tuesday, same time, same place, we'll have the part 2 of this class. So Bryan, keep going.
Thank you. All right, before I get into any more about my background and stuff, all right, so you can switch on. There we go. So you know who that is? Scrooge McDuck. All right. Do you know where Scrooge came from? Like where he was popular? Which cartoon? Do you remember the name? DuckTales. Right. He was like the trillionaire duck. So you're probably like, okay, why the heck is this guy putting Scrooge McDuck on the screen for this conversation? I kind of want to just level set about the conversation today, right? Like everybody wants to drive customers to their business so they can make sales. What I'm going to challenge you to think though is beyond just pure sales and what customers coming into your store, interacting with your products can do. So we're going to discuss that in a little bit more detail throughout all of this, right? Like, obviously we all want to have sales, like that's the lifeline of our business, but there's other aspects that getting customers in will help you with. All right, so today is the last 30 feet. You're good. So kind of what we're going to talk about, there's a little bit of information up there, handful of questions. How do you get people off the street and into your business? They're here at these events. They're sometimes 5 feet from your doors. They're walking past it, but how do you get them into your business? How do you collect their information? How do you turn them into repeat customers? And then what would be awesome is how do you turn them into an ambassador for your business? That way they're out there doing the marketing for you, right? Everybody knows word of mouth is probably the best thing, right? If you hear something from a friend that says you need to go to this place, I don't know what the exact odds are, but you're infinitely more likely to go someplace recommended by somebody. All right, so my background, Sheila set me up to fail here, but I do have over 15 years of marketing experience. in the Cincinnati region, most recently at Ready Cincinnati. Right now, I've got my own business. I own BOR Meats. Gwen, lovely Gwen, carries some of my products at her store. It's great. We produce artisan sausages right here in the kitchen behind us. So I'll use some of my own experiences over the last year as we kind of discuss through this. And then I'm still a marketing communications consultant. As I get the other business going, marketing communications consulting is what kind of pays the bills still right now. Background, most recent job in Cincinnati was as the VP for marketing and strategic communications at an organization called Ready Cincinnati. Ready oversaw the economic development for the tri-state region in Cincinnati. So you've had Ohio, Kentucky, Indiana. There's 15 counties that encompasses. Our organization was responsible for helping grow the economy through businesses. So ideally, we retain the businesses that are there and help them expand. And then we would also try to attract new businesses in. So we had domestic marketing to try to bring in domestic businesses from across the US. We also did international marketing to bring people in from overseas. So quite a bit. Prior to that, I was the assistant athletic director for for communications at Northern Kentucky University. Worked very closely with our marketing and development teams to fundraise, bring money in. My staff oversaw like the website, social media. At NKU, we had our own HD production trailer. We would broadcast about 70 to 75 games every year. That worked out some deals and whatnot, partnerships with local media outlets to air some of our games. So like there for a while when it was Fox Sports Ohio, we did our games on Fox Sports Ohio and retained some of that commercial inventory for our own internal purposes to help drive ticket sales and all that fun stuff. So I'd like to go around. I'd like to hear a little bit about everybody else here so that I can use that maybe throughout the presentation today. So if you don't mind, I've got a few things up here. Your name, business name if you've got, like if you've already opened a business, a description of your business. So what do you do if it's not obvious from the name? And then if there is any specific takeaway you want to get from this class the next 2 weeks. Okay, Leslie, let's start with you.
I am part of, my name is Leslie Coates. I'm part of the current Launch Runaway group. So I do not own a business yet. I am interested in opening a farm stop, which is a brick and mortar farmers market model where farmers bring their product and the shop sells it and the farmer gets 70% of the sale and the shop keeps 30%. So and I think that's something like what you guys are doing. And so yeah, that's and what I would like, I'm just I'm very interested in anything that gets customers to the store and building community at the same time.
Okay.
My name is Gwen Marks. I am one of the owners of the Marks Trading Company. We are now kind of a full grocery in downtown Adrian. And we do kind of work as a farm stock model. So we work with a lot of local food vendors and a lot of the farmers and bring in all their products. And we do work on a commission base with them where we do a 70-30 split. And then we kind of fill in with all our other suppliers where we don't have local vendors to fill in. We've actually been in business with a brick and mortar since 2022, but we've actually been in business since 2017, and we actually started here years ago. So specific takeaway really is, so even though yes, we've been in business for a long time, just trying to get those customers into the door. We do struggle with it on a daily basis because no one knows what we are, or they've never heard of us, even though we've been around forever and we do advertise. And getting them to kind of change their mentality of what we offer and what we have in stock comparing this to Walmart prices. because we're at Walmart and I will never go from there to Walmart. So just kind of giving that, how we can actually market to those people. Usually once you step foot in your store, our store, everyone loves our store, and we do get a lot of repeat customers, but, just trying to maintain those that we're keep them in. Our biggest thing, stop into this, is we actually have 2 peanut butter machines, and so that's probably what most people know us for right now is our fresh ground peanut butter. So everyone's like, are you the one with the machines? Yes, we are the ones with the peanut butter machine. So yeah, but we do have a full line of grocery. We do carry, Bryan sausages. That's actually been a good partnership for us. So
Nice. We'll just continue on around. Events.
All right, I am Kristen Ford, I am co-owner of Frozen Peanut here in Adrian. We opened about a year and a half ago. We have, women's clothing, accessories and jewelry. It's boutique, brand new boutique items that we get from wholesalers. We also have vintage items, and then we also have a lot of handcrafted items, painted furniture, a little bit of everything. A lot of our handcrafted items are consigned by local makers. We also do a commission split. Ours is 60/40.
No ideas, Gordon.
that's like it's better.
Sorry, Kristen, go ahead.
We don't have a lot of designers, but we do have some handcrafted items, some ladies that bring in vintage. I think our biggest takeaway is getting people in the door. We're kind of off on a side street.
Okay.
We're not on the main drag here, so we constantly hear, oh, I never heard of you. Oh, I didn't know you were here. Oh, I just saw you passing by. So it's, for us, we are off the path. And first Fridays, the streets are blocked. We're not part of that. We're kind of on the outskirts, like where Gwen used to be.
Okay.
So, yeah, getting people in the door, and then, like you said, building community. But we have a lot of repeat customers too, and they love our store, but it's getting out there.
Building.
I think. Yeah.
Whatever you have out front, I saw it today in the rain.
Oh, did
Like,
you?
oh, that's that place.
Yep. Yes, we are gonna paint the front of our building. We just haven't gotten to it yet. That will hopefully help a little bit, draw attention, but, yes, we need the marketing experience.
Thank you, Kristen.
We'll just do it together because we're partners. So my name's Jackie Haas. I'm Cheyenne and we're the owners of the Tina Jewelry and Design. We sell anything from like high-end fine jewelry to fun costume pieces. We do a lot of repairs and custom.
Yeah, we've been in business, 4 years in November, so,
Okay.
We have good word of mouth now, we have good foot traffic, but there are like the bigger events like, Apple Luncheon, where we do struggle with, not like return customers, but like newer customers. It's hard because like we're on the main road where all the food trucks are, so we had an issue with like people just like walking right past us, or like, they just don't want to come into the store.
On the colder years, they use our little entryway as a place to get warm while they're waiting for their macaroni and cheese to be. It's just really hard, like the large events
Yeah.
to come in.
But we do all of our repairs in the store. We have 3 like watch expert jewelers. And Jackie and I have been in the business for like 15, 20 years.
Great.
So we've been doing it all time.
Okay, excellent, thank you.
Again, we are co-workers from, Great Fox Floral in Tecumseh.
Yeah.
Great Fox has been in business, it'll be 53 years in November. The owner is retiring.
Yeah.
And she is turning the business over to the staff to run for her. So she's getting on to
I was gonna say, I think I just read an article about that in the Herald.
She's turning it over to the 7 of us,
Very nice.
staff to run the store for her.
Actually,
So,
that's why you looked familiar, because I stopped in about 3 or 4 weeks ago and got some stuff for my wife, and you were there. So,
yeah. So we're just here to, because again, we're off the beaten path.
yeah,
See if there's any ways that'll get them down the street.
yeah. What are your names again?
I'm sorry, I'm Joanne Harris.
Joanne
Linda Miller.
and Linda. Thank you. I will just say in general today, as I'm going through any of this, this is a small group. I would make it interactive. Ask me questions, stop me. If you see something in it and it sparks, a thought, whatever, let's just chat about it. I want to make this as beneficial as I can for everybody here. So let's don't hesitate to ask. Okay. Stop me, flag me down, whatever you need to do. Quick agenda of what we're hoping to accomplish today. Know your why, know your demographics, hours of operations, pre-event, helping to attract customers, then the event, welcoming customers to your business, and then unreasonable hospitality. And we'll touch a little bit on the topics that we'll hit next week as well. But this is just a quick overview. The know your why. Whenever I'm talking about marketing, I always start with this. I always start with this, and I'll always start with demographics as well. So why is it important to know your why? It keeps you grounded, right? It helps your decision process. It formulates all of that for you. Sometimes we get excited about like the shiny new thing over here. Social media has kind of become a catch-all for all marketing right now. And we'll talk a little bit more about that. That shouldn't be everything from a marketing standpoint. So I hope that all of you know why you started the business, know why you're running the business, you have a passion for it. I put on here, like knowing why you started your business, knowing why you love, like constantly reminding yourself of why you love what you're doing does 3 things. It exudes positivity, it inspires passion, and it demonstrates energy. And those things will resonate with your customers. If they come in and you're excited about your product, if you're excited about what you're doing, they can feel that. And I've got an example of this. I had a customer just this past week call me up. They're from Toledo. The lady had come up a couple of weeks ago, happened to just stop by the farmer's market. I was making breakfast sandwiches at the market, had one. She's like, oh, my husband would like this. So bought a couple of packages, took down. They called me up and said, hey, would you take a big order? Sure, we'd love to. So they placed an order. They came up Saturday, picked it up, and we're standing there talking. They were just asking me questions about different ways that I like to prepare it. And my wife and I love to cook. Obviously, I started a food business, right? So we love to cook, and I am obviously very passionate about that. So that came out in our conversations. We were talking about the pastas that we made at the Taste of Lenawee. And talking about different ways that we prepare it, that I get the smoker out. I smoke some of our sausages. And by the end of the conversation, they were like, okay, I'm sorry, we've got to leave right now. We're going to set 2 of these packages out to defrost on the way home because we're hungry and want to make this. And so like they saw my passion for it and it really resonated with them. And they said, just so you know, this is not going to be the only time we place a big order. They've already committed to coming back again to place more orders. And they've already talked to one of their friends about it because one of their friends was like, well, can I get some? And like, well, you can just buy a couple packages off of us. And next time you come up, you can place your order with us. So, they're already kind of moving down that path of being a brand ambassador for me. And we've had 2 interactions so far, but it's all because of the positivity, the passion, the energy that was evident. Business goal. So this is part of your why, especially for this event, like for these events, right? What are you trying to accomplish with events? Okay. Drive sales. I know we already talked a little bit about that, but this is where it comes in that I was hoping some of you would take more from this. And it sounds like some of you already are thinking beyond this, but the building awareness, making connections, sourcing leads, and your business is downtown, you're part of the downtown community. Hopefully you're all working together on this. I don't know how often like the downtown communities get together, if the businesses have regular meetings with one another, or if there's touch bases, or if there's, text threads that people are keeping up with one another. But ideally, in a good environment, those things are transpiring. Okay, it's not just you, you're not on your own, they're not on their own, you're doing this together, you're trying to build that downtown community as well. Any questions on the know your why, anything? Am I making sense with that? Know your demographics. Know who you are targeting, and equally as important, know who you are not targeting. Probably for a woman's boutique, I would not be your first client. Maybe if I'm going to buy something for my wife, right? But it's more than likely going to be like a one-off purchase. So I'm probably not your primary business target. On my end for the business, I sell craft specialty sausages. So I know for me, budget conscious people are probably not going to be my target audience.
Or vegan.
Or a vegan, certainly not a vegan. So it's as important to know who you're not trying to target as it is who you are trying to target. Probably the easiest one for me is males who like to barbecue. But I'm also going to say one of my biggest clients are the wives of the husbands who like to barbecue. And most of them are like, when they walk by, oh my gosh, my husband would love this. Let me get 2 packs so he can barbecue. Guys aren't as good at that as most, I will say most guys aren't as good as that. So yeah, it's equally as important to know who you're not targeting as it is who you are. I would encourage you, and I've left some like pre-event exercises for you guys to kind of think about as you do this. This one, I say sketch a simple event persona. So like if you're having a downtown event, so like Apple Lumpkins this weekend, right? You're going to have thousands of people strolling through downtown Tecumseh. What would be the type of person that you would want to target to bring in to the floral shop?
Well, okay, with the flower shop, we have mission wares within the flower shop, which is all handcrafted items by local artists.
Yep.
So that's gonna be our major focal point on the weekend, because if you're walking around for 2 days, you're not gonna be carrying flowers.
Yep.
So, that's what we're gonna want to come in the store. Plus, we have a large tent out in front of the store that we have some of all the product in from Michigan Wares. So then we try to bring them into the store also. So that way they can see the store, know what we're all about, and hopefully come back.
Very nice. I'll have some thoughts for you guys in a little bit as we get through stuff. So remind me to come back to that. We'll see how good my memory is if they remember my thoughts. Any questions on this one?
So actually, I do have a question for you.
Yes.
And I know I'm probably the outlier in this. So Jay and I obviously have pretty extensive discussions before customers, and we truly have multiple.
Yes.
So how do you, is it possible, I guess, because I was like, well, you can't have multiple customers. It's really kind to target for, your lower income, because we do offer AT, we obviously have more specialty stuff, so we offer the high-end specialty stuff. We try to kind of go into the in-between. I mean, don't get me wrong, we definitely have that. You're not my customer, I have one today, if you don't want to pay $8 a apple season. Great. It's not the customer, sorry.
Yeah.
So could you have that big spread?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes. So what I would say in that case, and I feel like I kind of fall into that too, right?
Right.
Like, for us, another big demographic is young professionals. Folks who for the first time have a solid income, they don't have huge expenses, but they're like, oh, I can go buy this premium product right now because I can afford it for the first time ever. So I've got the young professionals, which resonate, and then I've got even an older demographic. In that situation, you should create a persona for each one. Like, what does this person look like? Or in your case, these people. It is not uncommon to have 4, maybe 5 personas. I would say if you get beyond that, then you probably need to scale that down and say, okay, where am I going to focus? Like, which ones are the most important, or which ones can I make the biggest impact with? from a marketing standpoint. But it's not uncommon to have 3 to 4, maybe 5 instances. Ready Cincinnati, we had them there. We had the startups who are just coming out of that entrepreneurial phase, where their business has 2 employees and they're looking to grow to 3, 4, maybe 5 employees, all the way up to Fortune 500s. So who we were targeting in each of those situations was vastly different. And then you added for us an international component. So, you know, we had 4 personas that we kind of looked at like, okay, here's who it is. This person is, you know, it's a male in their mid-50s that is used to high-end products because they sell the high-end products. You know, we kind of we'd get a little bit granular with some of that. We would kind of look at those and make sure our marketing's hitting those elements. So that's even important for these events too. You have to look at the customers that are going to be coming into these events. I'd imagine based on the different themes, like downtown Adrian's got different themes, right? You're gonna pull in different people based on the theme. So, you know, you'll have to kind of think. Sometimes, quite honest, sometimes that theme may not resonate with your business, and that's okay too. Don't waste your resources on those events that don't resonate with your business. Okay. All right. Hours and operations. This may seem like an obvious one, but it needs to be said, establishing appropriate hours. And I'll use this from this perspective, right? If your normal hours, when you close at 5 o'clock and the event's from 5 to 8, that event's not going to do you any good if you close at 5 o'clock, right? You're going to have a dark store. So you're going to have to adjust your hours of operation. Now, I did put a couple of items in here. Dining, 2 primary peak hours, and this is kind of nationwide, 11 to 2 and 6 to 9. So if you're in a small downtown that has several restaurants, if those restaurants tend to draw some of your key demographics, maybe you should consider adjusting your hours. Maybe you don't open at 9, you don't go 9 to 5, maybe you go 11 to 7 is your operating hours. You know, just something to consider. The other piece is the small town, tourist-oriented downtowns tend to see higher traffic on the weekends and during the special events. That probably goes a little bit without saying, but I put it up here. I think it was Jay and I talked after the May downtown Adrian event, the first Friday, and there were over 4,000 people downtown on Friday night. That was the May one. So the summertime ones tend to do better. Correct. I know Jay would be able to correct me on that. If he was here.
Yeah.
Oh,
So
But yeah,
Marie, here.
he can actually tell you. And it goes year round, first Friday.
You're
So
right.
yeah, First Friday does go year round, so they do it 12 months out of the year. However, they only close the streets, May through October.
Okay.
And so those are the really big ones. November is really kind of the hit or miss. We honestly don't stay open for the November one because it's just not worth it for us. December we do, but we do have limited hours since the parades are especially closed because they have like a huge Christmas parade and then tree lighting. So there's a mass amount of people that do come, so I will do that. January, February, March, I don't even do anything with them because it has it, but there's not enough traffic for us. And we go back and forth, do we stay open? Because then we'll generate that traffic maybe. And then April, sometimes we go to April because people are trying to like, I just want out of house, it's not nice. But May through October, we are always open for them, but yes, they do, that big ones. And there's a huge influx, like I can tell you, like last, 4th of July, actually was, we were only open 4 First Fridays, because they do that. We processed over 160 transactions. In 3.5 hours that we were open. We usually will process between 100 and 120 on First Fridays. Now, granted, we are open throughout the day, but we certainly are not busier during the day because once the street closes, all traffic. Like your stores just don't. But yeah, so you do get more traffic.
the other one that I have up here, I talked about the normal hours to begin with. I gave a good example here, right? If you sell men's dress shoes, And if you close at 4 o'clock, you're probably not going to sell men's fresh shoes. You know, you're missing your customer base because they're at the office working during that time, right? So just, you gotta kind of think through. No, again, this is where the knowing your demographics comes in. In terms of operations, I put a few notes on here. Ensure staffing levels are appropriate for all the events, right? Obviously, you're playing a little game at the beginning to try to figure out how many people you need to have staffing. But you'll get a feel for it after a couple. Prepared demonstrations, giveaways, raffles, etc. We'll get into some of that a little bit more. Signage and visibility, make sure you look open. And I even put building cleanliness. You don't want to have fingerprints all over your windows and dirt on your windows, or even sweeping outside, right? It may be hard if the wind's blowing, but try to keep even the outside and stuff clean so that your venue looks inviting. And again, another question for you guys to kind of think through: what can you do to ensure your business is visible and ready before the crowd arrives? Right? Some of these are pretty self-explanatory. All right, so getting a little bit more into these downtown events. First piece of it is helping attract customers. So I know in a lot of these events, Apple, Pumpkin, First Fridays, people are already aware there's marketing campaigns going on for that. What I'll challenge though is, what can you do to help? Okay. Maybe not all of the customers are on or part of the marketing plans or seeing the marketing. Maybe it's, not everybody gets the local paper. Maybe not everybody gets the Facebook ads, because they're gonna serve their allotment. They're gonna be done with it. Maybe you didn't fall within that allotment. So what can you guys do to kind of help support this? So a couple of things that I gave: in-store signage leading up to the event, 3 to 4 weeks in advance would be ideal. Or if there's some other event in the meantime, you can scale that back accordingly. Whenever your previous event ends, then you can start kind of put some in-store signage out there. That can be as simple as just one of those little plastic, stand-up tabletop with a little card inside that has the dates and everything for the next event next to your cash register. Or maybe you've got a little handout. I've got some handouts over there that we give out to some of our customers. Maybe you can have the list of all the events on it, plus information about your business. There's a whole bunch of different ways to go about this. Social media posts, we talked a little bit about that already, but sharing content. So if like the city account posts something, you can also share it from yours. That also brings good interaction. Sometimes that may expose you to people that may not follow your account, because it's now going to show up on their feeds as well, with their folks, the people who follow them. Organic posts, which are the people who are going to target your followers, and then you can even do boosted post or advertising if you want to go that far with it. The one thing I always like to remind people with the organic posts, if you're trying to attract new customers, that's probably not the way to go. Think about it. Who's following you? They're already the people that are interested. They're your repeat customers. Okay, so if you're trying to enhance it, probably not the way to enhance it. Now, it's obviously a good practice because you're interacting with your most loyal followers. Okay. Share on your website. So if you have a website, post events on your website. Different ways you can do that. Word of mouth, personal invitations. Again, that one-on-one interaction, personally inviting people down, makes a huge difference. And then in anything you put out, if you're going to have any specials, giveaways, in-store promotions, whatever you're going to do, include that in all of your communications with everybody. Question on this one is, what's one thing you can do in collaboration with a neighboring business to attract customers to both of your businesses? I know, so when we originally kind of started talking about doing this class, I know sometimes the thought process is, hey, this is not our event. It's not our responsibility to bring customers down to it. But I would challenge that, yes, it is, because you're part of that downtown community, and you're part of that. You're part of that ecosystem. the best example that I can give, is anybody in here like a horse person? Like, do you know Belgian horses? Belgian horses are like known as the strongest horse, right? One Belgian horse can pull 4,000 pounds by itself, but they don't, almost never do they have just one Belgian horse, right? How many do they have? Usually a team of at least two, right?
Four.
Correct. So any guess, if one can pull 4,000 pounds, what does a team of two pull?
You pull more than 8.
Yeah, so everyone's like, always says, oh, they can pull 8,000. Well, usually within a month or two of working with one another, they're able to pull upwards of 16,000. And then if they stay together long enough, if they keep that team together long enough, a team of two can get upwards of 32,000. There's some examples of them getting up, a team of two up over 50,000 pounds being able to pull. And it's because of the teamwork between the two. They become so in sync, so in tune with one another. The two of them can pull in that situation. That's 12 times what one can pull, and you're doing it with just two. So I always love to give that example in this situation because it just shows the power of collaboration and being able to work together. If you think about other businesses, think about McDonald's. If you go to McDonald's, what's usually around a McDonald's? What else? You usually see a Wendy's, a Burger King, a Culver's, a Chick-fil-A. And they all go there and they all go together because if somebody's hungry, I'm hungry, I want to go to McDonald's. Well, say they go to McDonald's. You said there's a long line. Well, if there's a long line next to that McDonald's, they're going to go to one of the other places. And what ends up happening is, I'm hungry. This place has a bunch of restaurants. So you just drive there and whatever sounds good, that's where you go. Right? I mean, if you're just kind of thinking about that from that standpoint. So, like businesses, this is going to sound really odd for me to say, but I'm going to say this. I'm in the meat business. I sell a meat product. I want Monahan's to do well. I want Jerry's Market in Tecumseh to do well in terms of selling their meat. Because what that's doing is that's building a market that I'm part of. So maybe they want something. Oh, that guy's got sausages. Let's go try some of his tonight. It's just building that entire ecosystem around your. Same thing with gas stations. If you see one gas station on a street corner, the other 3 street corners probably also have a gas station on it. And it's the same process. You hear of breweries are really good at this. Breweries do collaborations all the time, where 2 breweries get together and collaborate on a beer. Why would they do that? Well, it's building the beer ecosystem. Thirsty for a beer, they're not always going to drink your beer. That's okay. But you're now part of the broader ecosystem, and when people are having the conversation about drinking a beer, you're gonna be part of that conversation. So that's why I always challenge with this to get people to kind of think outside the box. No, you are not always competing for the same customer. Sometimes you are, and that's okay. But especially with your neighbors, you're probably all not the same business, right? So if you can form some partnerships and collaborations, it goes a long way.
Tecumseh does that a lot.
Good.
I don't know if you're aware of this, but you guys out there, TDC, when they were open, they used bread and pastries, bread.
Mhm.
Musgrove, they used British Tea Pantry's tea. I mean,
It's awesome.
it's really pretty amazing.
So the Saturday morning markets, when I was making sandwiches at them, I would use Tecumseh Bread Company's croissants.
They got amazing bread.
It's incredible.
It was.
And the number of them that I would sell, you're like, I can't get there till 10 o'clock and they're all sold out by then.
Yep.
Yeah. So like people would get my sandwiches because I was using, and they like to see the local businesses support on them. So it goes a long way. All right. Let me make sure I get my order here. All right, welcoming customers. So now that they're downtown, what are you going to do? So there's 4,000 people downtown Adrian, or I don't know how many people attend Appleton.
Yeah.
There you go. So 30 to 40,000 people are downtown. What's the first thing you need to do? You need to make sure you're visible and present. And that can take on a whole bunch of different avenues, right? So the first one is exterior signage, tent, table, et cetera. You guys said you're gonna have a tent out, right?
Yeah.
That is one great way to be present. You're gonna have people outside your door interacting with people where they're at, which is on the street. That is a huge one. Some sort of outdoor activation. So you get probably gonna have a table underneath there, right? Probably some of your products out there, hopefully. Can you do some sort of giveaway? I use like a spin the wheel. Like sometimes people just have those wheels that they spin and it lands on something and they have a giveaway. You guys like hearing the sheet comments?
Yes, we-
Yeah.
Open a couple of bags, put a little sample cup out and send somebody wearing some of the clothes out to pass out some samples. It doesn't have to be the whole time. Just do it a couple of times. Send a few people out to hand out samples wearing some of the clothes. Hey, come see us. We got clothes. You like, right? Like you can have those conversations. We did this the August 1st Friday. I set up our griddle outside of Mark's Trading Company. And my son, who's in college, and his girlfriend, the two of them spent most of the time taking samples and walking around. I think I gave more sausage away that night than I actually sold. And I didn't care. I was happy about that because it was getting people to try our sausage. And the one I know, one gentleman tried it, looked at my son and was like, "Where's this at? I want some now." And he marched his family down, bought a sandwich for every single person in his family. And during the conversation, I was like, "Well, if you like it, here's Mark's Trading Company. They're inside right now." He walked in and bought like 4 pounds off of Mark's. So it's just it's those interactions. It was just my son loved it. He and his girlfriend walked around. They got to hand out samples. Everybody likes a sample, right? So there's just some different ways to do some of that. Have somebody, if you're not going to have something outside, can you have somebody at the door, opening the door, greeting people as they walk by? Different things like that. Obviously, if you can share on social media during the event, it's just a good interaction with your loyal followers. And it highlights if you know people and can tag people. If you take a photo of some friends of yours that are in there or whatever, they're going to help you. It's going to pop up on their phone. They're going to share. They're going to like it, and it starts to spread the word. Any questions with that? I do get into a little bit more here, I promise. So I had fun, and I picked 6 different businesses between downtown Adrian and downtown Tecumseh. And I said, okay, here's what I would do for those, or some ideas. And I tried to not just pick the easy food ones, giving out samples. So Encore Dance Studio, right downtown Adrian here. They've got a perfect opportunity. Have some of their girls that are in their dance classes come out and do a demonstration. It's wonderful, right? How many families have their daughters with them walking around? They see these other girls dancing, having a great time. Mom, I want to go do that. And it brings energy to it, right? The event becomes much more energetic. Challenger, that's the easy one, right? Sample popcorn bags, whatever, but they can also carry around, little cards that have some of their other products. Maybe a second one that lists all their cigars for somebody that might be a cigar smoker, but that's probably an easy one. Can be seal coated. Probably not an easy one to market downtown, right? Well, why not distribute a business card refrigerator magnet? Everybody hangs photos on their refrigerator of their kids and their drawings and their, A+ test score and all of that. Well, every time somebody goes and moves that, oh yeah, I've got to get my driveway seal coated. Make seal. I said Donna Baker and Associates. Get a branded football stress reliever. I actually have one at home, and I was trying to find it today. I couldn't find it. I'm wondering if my dog got it, but instead I brought something else that we used when I was in college sports. We had a little basketball hoop that we did as a giveaway. Oddly enough, when I worked at Redden, I had this hanging up in my cubicle, and the number of my coworkers that would go by and pick up the basketball and shoot it during the day was absurd, but in a good way. Accounting. So even though this isn't accounting, I know the example's not accounting, right? But it's football season right now. It's popular in the region. There's a lot of Friday night games. People care about their football teams. So that's just a simple thing that they can do as a giveaway. I even put, I think on there, they're 85 cents to $1.32, depending on how much you order. If you go to, and I just did 4 in print. I know SLI has some similar stuff. Boulevard Market, I put on there. An easy one. Suppose one of the goals they want is to grow their Facebook following. Hey, if you follow us right now, I'll give you a ticket that you can fill out and put in for a drawing. You can just have a QR code. They can snap the QR code, takes them straight to your Facebook page. They can show you that either if they're already following it, great, you can still put it in. Thanks for being a loyal follower. And then if not, hey, just click follow us real quick. And that's a way to boost followers. And $100 charcuterie board, a little bit of a cost associated with that, but really in the grand scheme of things, probably not a huge cost from a marketing standpoint. And then I was like, okay, what about Ace Hardware? What can we do for Ace Hardware? This one was interactive kids activities, like a fix-it photo booth. So having a hard hat and an apron and a couple of tools there that the kids can pose with. Mom's gonna snap the photo and tweet out, like, oh, I had a fun photo with Ace Hardware today with my kids. And then they're marketing for you. So in that case, you're turning somebody who may not even be a customer that day into a marketing voice for your business. Any questions on that? Handouts. I know there's a lot of information on this slide. Apologize for that in advance, but there's a handful of like core areas that I focused on, and then I provided examples of each. So what kind of handouts can you provide? Core business information. So that's like a postcard. So I've got the postcards here that we handed out or still hand out today, right? Some of you I know picked up when we were talking about the recipe on there. That's one. All the way up to a brochure. These are not that expensive. I did full color on nice thick glossy paper on both sides. I want to say they were 30 to 35 cents a piece. Yes, a little bit of an investment, but I wanted something that they want to keep that recipe. They're just going to throw it in the recipe cards, and it's nice enough to do that. And it's going to stand out when they're looking through it for a recipe. Then you can do like product or experience based. That would be the recipe card that I talked about. For the florist, you could have care cards, like how to care for your flowers, something like that. Passports or punch cards. So this is a great collaboration piece. If you visit the 5 of us, you can get a punch card at each. We'll each give you 10% off. Right? It encourages people to go and visit multiple places. If they want to buy they know they want to buy something from place A, but okay, well, I'm willing to go to B, C, D, and E to be able to get 10% off. It gets people in your store even if nothing transpires that day, they're still coming into your store. They're still having an experience with you. Data collection, so you can have different signups, email, loyalty cards, signups, survey cards. Keepsakes and value adds, so like some sort of event themed sticker, bookmarks, scratch off discounts. I put like a limited edition postcard. So if you're like an artist, an art gallery, maybe you could have one of your original prints done on a postcard that is a collector's item. You'll give, I don't know, 150 of them out on the weekend, and those are the only 150 that you're ever going to produce of that particular image. And then some sort of partnership and community related, if there's maps for the event, have those available to hand out. It's just another touch point between you and the customer. Okay. The exercise I have here is brainstorm one handout that is relevant to your business that you can give out. Any questions on that? And 6:20, I think we got Oh, no, we got 40 minutes left.
Where do you get your postcards made?
So, okay. I've got a background in design from my time in college athletics. So I did the design work myself. And I used, what's the one on 52? D printer. On 52. Right around the corner from my house. So I loved it because I got to support a business local to me. I have like a banner sign and one of the like sale signs, you know, the ones that kind of stand up about 7 feet tall and curve over. I did those at SOI. So trying to kind of spread around and work with different businesses in the community to support them. Yeah, they're next to rallies. It's like SOI custom. So there's a little like strip, they're kind of on the side of it. All right, so now you've got people coming into your store. All right, how are you interacting with them? A couple of things. You've got active interactions and passive interactions. Active interaction. Oh my gosh, I can't talk right now. An active interaction is you personally greeting them, handshake, etc. Something that's more passive would be having like a station where they can fill out a form. Maybe you're busy talking to another customer, but they can go over and fill out a form for more information. To receive a newsletter, if you produce a newsletter. Obviously, if you're not going to produce a newsletter, don't do that because people, they're signing up for it, they're going to expect to get it. So make sure it kind of lines up with what you want to do. This is a big one, the be receptive, stay off your phone, etc. So my middle and youngest sons helped us out a lot at the markets this year. The middle son wanted to have the phone. He wanted to do all the like checking people out and using our point of sale app and all of that fun stuff. And youngest son loved helping make the sandwiches with me, but he was more customer facing because he's the one handing the customer their sandwiches and building them for them. And they wanted dad grilling, which is probably not a bad idea because I've got a face for radio. So I had to have a conversation with them though, because if somebody wasn't right there, first thing they're both doing is phone straight in their face. And all of a sudden, like 3 people walk by and they have no interactions with them because they didn't even recognize they walked by. And so one day I kind of pulled them to the side and said, phones down. Like, you're here to talk to customers, to interact with them. Just say good morning. Like, sometimes a good morning is all it takes to get somebody to start interacting with you. Oh, good morning. How are you? What are you guys selling? And then you can talk about it. Or good morning. And I made my employees, they were so mad at me, but I made them practice like a little pitch. Like, hey, what are you going to say to me? But it was funny because after like the first 5 customers, gosh, Dad, this works. I know, like you're not buried in your phone and you have a conversation and you make a sale. Like, imagine that. I know we're all laughing, like we're grown adults here, but it is true. Like if you walk into a store and a person's buried in their phone, you feel neglected, right? As a customer. So that's why I put it on there. Acknowledge their presence, make eye contact. It's absolutely okay to be busy, right? On some of these event nights, your store may be packed and you may be kind of running around with your head chopped off, but be willing to kind of slow yourself down when you see customers in there and just have those interactions with them. Say hi. I list unreasonable hospitality. I'm going to have more on that here in just a second. But are there any questions on this one? All right, the unreasonable hospitality. I don't know if anybody has read this book or seen this book, but there's a book called Unreasonable Hospitality, The Remarkable Power of Giving People More Than They Expect. It's by Will Guidara. I'm going to point out, as a marketing communications guy, I failed and did not have a capital T on the proofreading. I hate when I find my own mistakes. So what is unreasonable hospitality? It's how can you make your customers feel special? This Will Guidara at age of 26 was running 11 Madison Park in downtown New York. And within 11 years, he and his business partner turned it into the best restaurant in the world. And how did they do that? They did that with unreasonable hospitality. How can they make their customers feel special? They had, he talks in this that they had a customer at one point, it was in the wintertime, the customer had never seen snow, had never been sledding, and it started snowing outside. He gave one of his employees 20 bucks and said, go buy them a sled. Bring like one of the little plastic sleds, go bring them a sled so we can send them down to the park to go sledding after this. We want to talk about a memorable experience. Now, over Madison Park, 5-star Michelin restaurant or 4-star Michelin restaurant, right? They're making their money back. Like that 20 bucks is a drop and a half for what they're making on that meal. But listening, like all it took was their server listening to the conversation that was transpiring there, and man, what a difference it makes. I have a couple of examples of this on the next page. Walt Disney World. Walt Disney World's greatest place on earth, right? Most magical place on earth. I was thinking about this. We took our kids there 6 years ago. I don't ever once remember seeing somebody sweeping up on the road. I know it happens, right? Because their roads are immaculately clean. Never once remember seeing that. I never once remember seeing somebody carrying a bag of trash around there. Like all of those little things kind of add up. Chick-fil-A, how do they greet you? Does anybody know how they greet you? Every single time. How may I serve you? Every single, how may I serve you today? Do you know how they end? Or if you say like, oh, thank you, they end it with my pleasure. Every single time. And I don't know, I've been to Chick-fil-A's hundreds of times in my life at this point. I don't know that I've ever seen anybody angry in a Chick-fil-A.
I was,
You were?
this summer I had a horrible experience at Chick-fil-A.
Wow.
Yeah, I was.
Pretend I didn't have this example up here.
Yeah.
Just kidding. Yeah.
I don't know, it was down in Sandusky, we were at Kalahari, we left Kalahari to go get Chick-fil-A, and the girl on the drive-thru was just so rude, and she literally cut me off.
Wow.
Yeah, and then they forgot to give you my kids' meals. I had to go in and get my kids' meals. Was not happy.
I'd be curious as to what happened.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So
Seven Brew is the same way. There, have you heard of Seven Brew?
I have not.
It's there's one on the west side of Michigan, and their model is just like Chick-fil-A.
Just like it.
They stand outside.
Yeah.
And they do say, how may I think it's how may I serve you? I want a third.
Could be, I don't know, that's a good question. I have a couple of examples related to my business. So when I said I was starting this up, my wife's best friend, she's like, oh my gosh, this is the greatest thing ever. Like, how can we help you? Her husband was on the carnivore diet. So when I was kind of figuring out all of our processes and procedures, I was only producing like once a month to doing big batches though, of like 100 to 120 pounds. They were buying, 5 to 10 pounds at a time. I'm like, man, like, this is so awesome that you guys are supporting me. I felt so grateful. I'm like, well, how can I show my appreciation? So when we were getting prepared to do the farmers markets and truly kind of like launching the forward facing or outward facing portion of the business, I was getting t-shirts. Great, I'm going to give them t-shirts too. And then by that point, I kind of figured out, okay, here's where I need to be from a pricing structure. I had a true understanding of what my costs were and everything. So it's like, okay, I've got to adjust my pricing. I just told them, I'm like, your pricing is not going to change. I'm going to give you a discount every time. Right. So I call them they were the first people of my ambassador program. And I've done this for some other folks too, like here's some t-shirts and stuff. Thank you. You guys have some t-shirts, right? Thank you for all your support. Just something simple to make the people who are regular supporters feel special. I had that large order come through this past weekend. One of the things when I produce, I never end up with exactly a pound of sausage, right? I always end up with, an extra 12 ounces here, an extra 15 ounces there. So I'm producing and I had an extra 15 ounces of maple sausage. Can't package it to sell it at regular price because I advertise, 16-ounce packages, which legally then my minimum has to be 16. I can be over 16, but I can't be under. I was like, well, this is great. Like they mentioned wanting to try some of our other sausages. Yes, they ordered 5 flavors. Well, this was not one of the flavors they ordered. So I went ahead and packaged it up, just marked off like, nope, this is only 15 ounces. Like, I'm just going to give this to them as just a, hey, thank you. You placed a huge order with me. I can't sell this anyway, so I'm just going to give it to you. So we're sitting there having a conversation. I gave them t-shirts as well. Like, hey, what kind of t-shirts do you want? What color, what size? As we're sitting there talking, I've also started making beef tallow with some of the beef scrap, the fat scraps of the beef. And the lady was like, oh, you guys have tallow now. Like, that's pretty cool. Like, what all do you use it for? So we started talking. She's like, oh, at some point I want to try some of it. Guess what? I had a jar that was 9 ounces instead of the 12 ounces, so I couldn't sell it. I just reached back, grabbed the jar. Here you go. It's just a very simple thing. Like, I can't sell it anyway. I was going to either use it at home or give it to a friend or something. Like, why not go ahead and make these people feel extra special? I told you that the husband was like, oh my gosh, I got to go home and make stuff right now. We're going to thaw stuff out. I already felt humbled that they placed such a huge order with me, but this was my way of being able to say thank you to them as well for spending their hard-earned money. Very simple things, right? At the end of the day, it maybe cost me, my cost for the t-shirts might have been 14 bucks. And then I couldn't sell that stuff anyway, so it's the packaging that cost me, so another $1. So I spent $15 to kind of make these people feel even more special already. Just whatever you can do to bring a smile to their face, right? Like send them away happy. You can come up with different ways. Just listen to the people talking around you.
We do something very similar to that. So every online order we get, we put a trial size of our spices in there, and the handwritten thank you.
Okay.
Handwritten more. Looks like it's different.
But imagine if you could take the time to handwrite one.
I used to.
We used to. And
Yeah.
it just became.
Yeah, it becomes cumbersome, right?
Okay.
Yeah.
So I found a program where I can write all the letters, and I imported it actually into the computer, so it does look like my handwriting,
Ah, see, there you go.
because, well, it's a time saver.
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely.
Yeah.
But maybe for a special customer, like maybe there's an opportunity at some point to actually do the handwritten note.
Right, and there's times like I'm out of the car and I just have to order and I'm like, I don't have time to print, I'm too lazy to print.
Yeah.
I will handwrite the note. I actually shipped 2 orders up today and we just handwrite.
Yeah.
So,
And
yeah,
how,
we
like-
always put a trial size, and it doesn't matter really what ones, but we do have a lot of people who, even if they don't order spices, because the trial size are always our spices, that will order again of what we sent them, because now they want bigger ones.
Yeah.
So it's another way of them, and I do try and pay attention to what they order. If they don't order something spicy, I definitely will not put spicy in, but if they do order spicy, I have no problem throwing it on. But yeah, we get additional sales for them.
We have, there's somebody who regularly attends the market as a vendor. I know the family's not as well off. They just had a baby. Almost every week they'll buy a pound of sausage off of me, and the wife had been talking about a certain flavor for about a month. Like, oh, when are you gonna make that one again? I really want to try that one. We want to try that one. Well, the one weekend they were there, we had 4 different flavors that they all wanted to try, and so she was like, well, I know my husband wants to try this one, so we're gonna get the other one instead. And so before they walked away, I just grabbed that package that I knew she wanted to try. Like, here, just take it with you. Like, enjoy. And she was like, oh my gosh, you don't have to do this. I'm like, no, I want to do this. Like, you guys support me every week. Like, I know you're at a point now, you've got a 3-week-old at your house. Like, what can I do to like help make you feel special? And it goes such a far way, or a long way, sorry. All right. Any questions? Let's chat. What do we want to chat about? What can I help you guys with? What can I pull some ideas? Kind of already gave you guys one, right, of the Misha gummies. I know there's a little bit of cost with that. They're not the cheapest.
And
But
any of the events that we have downtown Tecumseh, like the ice sculpture, we quite often will serve goodies inside the store, because we do sell some food products.
yeah,
And sampling helps sell,
yeah,
because if we're sampling it, those items sell. Samples and jewelry, please.
So I've actually got a really funny story about samples at your store. So my mother-in-law passed away in 2019. Yeah, I'm doing that, 2019. My sister-in-law time was also going through chemotherapy and she was dealing with cancer and she was medicating herself, with what's now a legal substance, but was not necessarily at the time. Actually, I think it was medically at the time. So she had the munchies when they showed up to place some flowers, a flower order, and you guys were sampling your Michigummies. I will just say my wife ended up purchasing 3 packages because she felt bad for how much her sister had consumed. So my wife might kill me if she knows I shared that story. But she comes home, she's like, "Oh, we are the proud owner of 3 packs of Michigan." I am pretty sure my sister-in-law ate most of those as well. But yeah, so funny story. What can I help you with? We've got 23 minutes here. What is there anything you want to run past me? Anything that we can brainstorm together as a group?
So I have a question. So
Yeah.
when you were talking about possibly like for F-Lumpkin, we do have like a spin the wheel thing. So the first 2 years we were open, we just were inside only and sales were horrible.
Yep.
But then we got a booth and last year was amazing. So just having a booth outside, it just makes all the difference. And then too, like you said, we tell people come into the store, like the store is just right down there.
Yeah.
Do you think it would be an okay idea if we had to spin the wheel like at the booth? And in order to retrieve like the prizes, you have to come into the store? Do you think that's asking too much?
So I would say it
Or vice versa?
probably depends on what kind of prize you're giving away.
Okay.
I don't really want it in the booth because I want people to buy something from the booth. And when
Yeah.
you're doing like a giveaway, my issue with giveaways is it draws a certain type of crowd. And we experience that with like, we do a lot of like best friend nights to come see where they know to come in on these nights, they come in for their free thing, they walk out, and then we never see them again.
Yeah.
So I don't wanna have it at the booth, and then they come for their little free prize and they walk away, and then they don't buy it forever. So like,
Yeah, we just would like to get them to see the store as well. I mean, like, yes, so the sales are there. We're doing well on, that.
Yeah.
But still with the new customers that have never been to the store, we want them to see that,
So I would say a couple of things. Number one, you have to be okay viewing some of this as just a marketing expense.
Sure.
Right, and you're not gonna ever recoup all of your marketing expenses. Like I said, with the first Friday in August, I guarantee I gave away more sausage that night than we sold. And I was 100% okay with that. I'm a new business, people don't know who we are. I just want people to eat sausage. That was the number one thing. So that's why I'm saying you kind of have to figure out what your end goal is. Do you want people for some of those giveaways, right, where people are just taking it and leaving it, and yes, it draws a certain crowd. Maybe the father is like, oh my gosh, like it's Christmas time, I need to get my wife something really nice, like kind of been matured lately, need to get her a pair of earrings or something. He's gonna go back and remember that. Oh yeah, we went to that thing. Like those things do stick. So it may not lead to a sale that night, but it may lead to one 6 months later. In this case, for 2 months away from Christmas, where all the husbands are scrambling last minute to go get gifts. So I would kind of challenge a little bit, like you have to be okay with some of that. Okay, it's not ever going to be perfect in that regard. Now, I would say if you have like a premium giveaway, I don't know if it's possible to give away like $100 pair of earrings. Maybe you have some sort of contest that is incredibly difficult to win, and maybe one person might win it in a weekend. I would absolutely say for that, they have to go back to the store again.
Yeah, we could do that. Like, if we just tell people at the booth, like, hey, we're having an awesome giveaway, blah, 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 but you have to sign up for the store.
Right? Yep.
Just to get them.
Just send them back to the store. Maybe you have 10% of the people actually going to the store to sign up for it. But correct, if you have 300 people that walk by, you're getting 30 people in the store.
Yeah.
My guess is you're gonna get more than than 300 people kind of walk by and you'd get more than 30 people in the store for a sign up for a more premium giveaway. That would be my recommendation. Be willing to do something a little bit more premium. Maybe you have the really difficult gift or the gift. You have the really difficult like promotion. Maybe it's to spin the wheel and there's 400 things on the wheel and just one of them is in that slot. And once it's landed on, it's gone for the weekend. Like that can be part of the attraction. And you're giving the cheap $1 trinket away for everything else. Or maybe you have a couple of different trinkets based on where they land that you give away that, each of those cost you 50 cents a piece or $1 a piece. And, but you're still giving them something that's branded with your business name. So they're still taking something away, but for that one person, it's something special. I don't know, just a bunch of different things to kind of consider.
Oh, we give those away daily.
Yeah, that's what we give the kids.
Necklaces.
Yeah, the candy necklaces.
And it can even be like, it can even be stepped, right? Like, even on that wheel, you can have different levels of trinkets.
Right, yeah.
And that's part of one of the things that we'll get to next week is kind of planning out the year in advance. Of what that looks like. Maybe for Apple Lumpkin, that can be your premier event each year. So that's where you're going to spend the bulk of your marketing dollars. Your event marketing dollars can go towards that one event, but yet you have the ice sculptures, you have the sand sculptures in the summer, sandcastle sculptures. Maybe you do some smaller things around those. I don't know, is there like an earring giveaway you can do? Like it's a $5 piece and a couple of those are giveaways over the weekend. And then, like you have to, hey, we don't keep those out here for security reasons. Like you can even say a security reason, like, we don't keep that stuff out here. We want you to, we're gonna give you this ticket, take it in, our person, cash register will help check you out. Anything else?
So I have a question kind of with that.
Anybody else? I'm sorry, just-
Sorry. So, like you guys say, like you see it like the sales and everything else and like giving away at the events. So I struggle because I feel like I do sales weekly because we have so many events, which is great because it brings people down and I'm good with it. But what's the, my question is like, you said, like, what's the chances they're only gonna come down for that event because there is something attached to give away? Like, is that an intel that could be like, what I'm looking forward to, like, are they gonna get used to, I'm not coming in because you're not gonna sell or you're not doing a giveaway?
Well, and it goes back to the First Fridays, right? Adrian did a great job with First Fridays. We did such a good job that people only came down during First Fridays. And so they were only coming down once a month. And so that's why we've done more events to try to draw them at other opportune times to break them down. Because what we don't want businesses to rely on First Fridays and say, I know that I get 100% bump in my sales on First Fridays, and then it rains, or it's poorly attended because there's a competing event or something happens, right? So we've got the DDA and even downtown has got to do a better job of spreading that activity out, increasing it overall, but not becoming reliant on those events.
So, and that's where,
But it's very philosophical, right? I mean, I don't like.
yeah, at the beginning, one of the slides that I had was, how are the local businesses helping to bring people down here? This is where it has to be a collaborative effort. And I used the Belgian horses as an example where, they individually they pull 4,000 pounds, but collectively they routinely pull 32,000 pounds as a team of two, which is like 4 times what you would expect them to be able to pull because they're all pulling together. Is it possible? And I asked the question, and you'll know the answer. Is there a downtown consortium of businesses where you meet once a month in the evenings and say, okay, what can we do together to support this? Because if everybody's working together to kind of draw more people down here, you and I kind of had this philosophical conversation a little bit. And my businesses, at the end of the day, my business is ultimately my responsibility. Like, it's not yours as the DBA to bring me customers. It is, at the end of the day, it is my job. That sole responsibility resides with me. So if you're bringing them down here for the events, like, that's great. My job to get them in the door. It's my job at the other times to draw them down here. Now, are there things we can do collectively to work together to bring people down here? Absolutely, there are. I don't know, can we work on something together to have like a tasting night or tasting day where we have some of my sausage and some of your sauces? Like, we could 100% do that. Yeah, again, it's another marketing expense, but it's another time to draw people down. There's gotta be a way, people have to be willing to work together on this stuff. Because it does collectively build that ecosystem and it finds other times to get people down here. I don't think you always have to do the sales.
And I started actually because I feel like, grocery has horrible profit margins, you don't know, like horrible. So when I do a 15-20% sale, I'm literally giving you my whole profit essentially, for quite a few actually for parks, because they are very slim. So I quit actually doing anything like I did, I'll do 5 off of 25. Because I don't want to give you a discount until you spend $25. And that has helped a lot in it gets people to spend more, we've noticed. And $5, I'm fine with 5 off for 25, because at least made you buy $25.
Usually we see, it's not 25, it's 50.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And you can't.
Or they'll spend 40 and.
Correct.
Yeah.
Versus, I'm gonna give you 20% off my snacks or 15% off my bulk or whatever, because then I'm literally eating all of my profits. And we've just noticed that has increased, so if I can do it like percentage off certain product line or whatever, we just do it as a whole. And we have noticed that try to get away from the sales aspect of it, because then we would notice people, well, I'll just wait because she's gonna have that next sale for this week, or because I typically always did keep the same stuff because it was easier. First Fridays, I would always do a sale on snacks. Why? Because that's what most people are buying for the first Fridays. But then I'm like, why should you sell stuff that you buy on?
I would say for you guys, you've got like 2 of the most awesome brand ambassadors. Send your girls out with samples of your dips. Just little dip cups. Send the girls out in Mark's Trading Company shirts. Hey, we got like.
And that is where I do fail, because I don't think I had like I should. And also the other something about.
No, we'll probably, this week, we're probably following Saturday, we do sample Saturdays typically in the fall.
Yeah.
To bring people in and sample a couple different items. And
And they do, I mean, reviews that.
people see it online and they're, oh, we gotta wait because they're sampling this or that.
Yeah. And your girls are such like, they're so friendly, they're so like, they're just personable, they're great at talking to people. I see them interact with customers in the store already.
I like everyone, I spoke mine rather go somewhere else. When they yell at you, I'm always yelling, because they're like this with their coat, and I was like, stop, like, it's your coat. But yeah.
You mentioned the book, and I haven't read the book, but I've heard some excerpts from it.
Yeah.
The sledding one in particular, I've heard used previously. And it made me think of another book. The author slipped my mind, and it was Raving Fans.
Okay.
Very similar, but it's talking about creating an experience and having them sell your product, becoming a raving fan for you and your product or your business. Used a lot in the hospitality industry about it, along those lines. And it deals with not only the Chick-fil-A of creating the expectation, but when the expectation fails, how do you have that service recovery? What do you do to exceed their expectations? So restaurants historically have been, if you had a bad experience, well, they give you a free dessert. Well, I don't want a free dessert. I want my meal fixed. Fix my meal. Don't give me a free dessert because I don't necessarily want that. So fix the meal, give them a new meal, package it up to go, whatever you need to do. And then if you want to give them something additional, give them a bounce back, right? Give them $15 to come back the next time or whatever those things may be. If you exceed their expectations there, then they're going to tell people the positive result.
Yes.
As opposed to the negative, because you're going to tell the average is 292 people what you wind up telling about your bad experience at Chick-fil-A. It takes 10 positive results to get one good story. So, I mean, then if you exceed that expectation, if you go back and say, you know what, if they would have given you, I'm sorry, I'm going to refund your meal, I'm going to give you $10 to come back next time. you would have been telling us about them forgiving kids meals. You would tell them, wow, they screwed up and fixed it. So I mean, those are the kinds of things you have to look at when you're.
So I had one situation similar to that. Sold some breakfast sandwiches. I attempt every single sausage that comes off my grill, every single one. Lady thought that it was undercooked. Still a little pink in the middle. Great, let me make you a new sandwich and I'm gonna refund you for the entire thing. Just gonna refund it, like, I failed to meet your expectations. I'm not gonna make you pay for it. I ate a couple bucks. Here's what I'll tell you though, her husband has come back almost every single week we've had him and he's still bought. Every single week. Okay, like, that's fine. Maybe I lost her as a customer. I'm confident, I know it was not undercooked, but I'm not gonna have that argument. That's not worth it to me. Yeah, I'm gonna eat a couple of bucks, in terms of that sale. I'm gonna eat a couple of bucks in terms of getting a new one, but it was more about making sure that they walked away feeling like it was resolved in their favor, but they still came out ahead in the situation. So, yeah, same thing.
That's why we're still buying from you. You were authentic, you were, it's like.
Yeah, it was, oh my gosh, I'm so sorry when you have that back rule, like, let me make you a new one. What did she have again? I think she, this is what I remember, but is this what she ordered?
Yeah.
Let's,
Walmart.
and you're gonna get the first one that comes off of my griddle. We can cook things fast enough. But Chris, I was thinking about you, like you said, you're kind of off the beaten path, especially for that. My recommendation would be to set up a tent. Set up some sort of, get yourself street side, get yourself right there where the people are walking by so that you can interact with. And what can you do? What kind of giveaways can you give them? How can you direct them back down to your storefront? Maybe it's hey, I'm gonna give you this coupon for 10% off in the store, or maybe I'm gonna, we've got a giveaway, take this down to the store to get the giveaway. What does that look like? And maybe the giveaway is not the right thing to go for you, but that's just kind of my thought process of how do you get people in store? Oh, we've got to sign up down in our store for, $50 gift certificate to come in and purchase a product. We're going to do a draw, we'll draw after the event out of go from there. So.
What if we do like a VIP experience, right? Come and shop the store when nobody else is here.
Yeah, we thought about doing that.
Yeah, that's a good one. I like that too.
We'll curate for you before you come in, tell us some of your tastes, we'll curate some things, and then while you're here, we'll answer all your questions and help you through the process.
Yeah, give them a personalized experience when nobody else is in the shop. You're walking around, you're helping them pick out whatever they might be interested in. Giving them, the story behind those products too. So, it's a good one. Sure.
Just for your situation, there is a local person who is a stylist. Like she will come to your home and she will tell you these colors work for you, these colors don't, these styles work for you, these styles don't. She'll literally go through your closet. But I'm thinking if you were to partner, I know. I will connect you.
Yeah, sure.
But I'm thinking if you were to partner with her and have that private shopping experience, this woman could, it's a dual, you guys can have to partner as far as the business goes, but she could tell them, this is your style, look at how amazing you look in this, but yet this is what you came in wearing. We could totally transform your whole look,
Yeah.
So, that could be an experience.
Yeah, that'd be great. Yeah, I found a lady that does the whole color thing, but she was from like an hour away.
Oh,
So if there's somebody local, that'd be
there
great.
is. Yeah.
Okay.
I will. Yeah, pass on her information.
Thank you.
And quite honestly, maybe there's a way for all three of you to partner with
Well, accessories.
Yeah.
on the accessory side, right? Like, so some thought processes there to be able to collaborate.
Well, and everyone has different tastes too, so it's like that, like what if she has a particular client that's more like, for one thing. And like you said too, like there can be all of the same thing in the area, you're not always gonna go to that one thing, you can share it. Cool.
Yeah, the food thing, and Jay and I had talked about this. I don't know how many seats are in the restaurants downtown.
Oh, 300.
So you got 300 restaurant seats, you brought 4,000 down in May, right? So they can turn those 300 seats over 3 times.
3.
Okay, so they can serve 900 meals. You bring 4,000 people down here during dinner time expecting to eat. If you don't bring food trucks down to also serve those customers, they're all leaving hangry. Right? Because they came down, they were expecting to be able to eat something well. So if you're those restaurants, like you should 100% be happy that they're bringing food trucks down to also supplement. I venture to guess those restaurants are not starving for business, every pun intended with that, right? Those businesses are not starving for a business those nights. They're still filling their seats. But if they have a bunch of customers going away hungry, those Friday nights are gonna dwindle. I'm telling.
We need to figure that out for Tecumseh too, because I feel like a lot of people bitch about that. The food truck situation.
Oh, food trucks.
Coming down, yeah. But one thing we did notice was, what was it, the morning time, there was no breakfast, and we were starving, and there was no breakfast for us. And that pumpkin starts at like 9 in the morning, and it's like, what, I don't want a steak meal at 9 o'clock, I want something for breakfast to hold me over, to hang out longer. Yeah.
Yeah.
So I did not produce my sandwiches last week, for 2 reasons. Number one, I was flying solo. I was staffing our booth by myself. My youngest son had a soccer match, which my wife had to take him to. So it was me by myself. I didn't get something out until Friday afternoon that I wouldn't eat. So some of the regulars would buy sandwiches off me, didn't see that. I'm also using a 2-week temporary license, so next week would be week number 2. Well, I'm expecting poor attendance at the Adrian Market because there is gonna be an Appalachian instead. Right, so I was like, well, this does not make sense for me to get a temporary license for the next 2 weeks to sell these sandwiches. Because I'm most likely not gonna sell, like, I know what my break even is. I'm gonna have a hard time hitting my break even to even make the money back for the cost of the license. So I didn't, and this is on me, I didn't get stuff out. So I had a couple of upset people last week who were anticipating to get my breakfast sandwich for breakfast. They didn't see my post on social media. So I owe some people, like, trying to figure out like how I can help them.
But that's what I was telling the businesses downtown last year, I was like, if you guys wanna make a killing, serve breakfast at Appalachian, because there was not one thing to eat there. I mean, donuts, but not everybody likes donuts, like,
It's crazy.
you know.
One thing I wanted to add too is that, Jay Marks, Jay Glenn and Marks Trading Company, but Jay is also the DDA director for, downtown, Main Street. And, this training actually came about because of my conversations with Jay. Our people need this training to understand how to bring people in. And, one of the things that is really important is you have the city who's planning these events and they're marketing these events, and you could absolutely as business owners tie into that marketing. You don't have to pay marketing this, go to their marketing and share it on your site and say, we're so excited, here's what we're planning. But I wanted to say that because they have hired marketing people to do that for the event, you just have to tap into it. And then I was wondering if Jay, if you had any other things that you would want the business owners to know about these events coming downtown and what they can be doing.
I think the big thing is, we have, like you said, we have a large following. We have 4,000 or 5,000 followers, depending on which channel, and we've got multiple channels that we push things out on social media. So collectively, we probably have 20,000 followers. I'm sure there's repeats, and so that helps the algorithm getting different things out. And we share them across all channels. But you sharing it as a business really helps not only us, but it helps you, because maybe your followers then can see what we're doing and get on our page, and you forget the week to do it. If there's an event in November and you forget to do it, they'll catch our event and get that information and see, oh, wait, you're listed, here you are, good. So you're there, you have something going on. We try really hard to tag all the businesses that are participating, doing stuff. And I don't know if I've tried to tag multiple businesses in that post before, but let me tell you how painstaking that is. I mean, it is, because sometimes they won't read it, you gotta stop, you gotta start to save it, come back into it, and it's a disaster. It used to stop at 20, and Meta is taking that off, so you can do more. So think about those things, understand that our main objective, we have two goals. Bring more people downtown, increase the frequency of their visits. That's the things that we do. You don't want us to market your business, because we're not good at marketing 40 individuals. We don't know who your customer is, we don't know what your value proposition is, we're gonna get it wrong every single time. We would never get lucky to get it right once, we get it wrong every single time. And we just don't have the bandwidth to do that, you know, we take busy on events and doing the marketing for that and making sure that we're doing it. And this year, we have something going on every week. Well, with Town Square, next year, we plan on having events, not 4,000 people. Smaller scale, 100 people events, 4 to 5 times a week. And so just think about the communication level for that, getting people downtown. We want to increase the foot traffic in downtown. The more people we have, the more people we'll get. You know, as we see that, the foot traffic, people always love a crowd, right? They always want to go somewhere. I think Yogi Bear, I said the place was so busy, nobody goes there anymore, right? Because it's just such a crowd. That's what we want. We want to continue to bring people down to increase the curiosity. Why is everybody downtown? The best answer is nothing. They're just downtown, right? That would be great. I think of all the smaller communities I go to. I've been to Dundee recently. I've been, Brighton over the summer. And we were Brighton on Sunday. Are we back on Sunday? I couldn't tell you how many people were downtown. I'm like, what's going on? Nothing. It was a Sunday downtown. And in Adrian in particular, yeah, we've done a really good job to tell people, down on Sunday. You come down on Monday, you better make sure that they're open, because most of the businesses aren't open on Monday, right? And we've trained them, not for 5 years, not for 10, for 20 plus years, we've trained people, so they don't come down on those days. And it's a big investment, right? It's a big investment from the individual businesses. I've shared with Sheila, I've shared with Bryan, I've shared with business owners downtown. If you look at when people come to visit downtown Adrian, peak time of day, 6 p.m. We have the most visitors at 6 p.m. 80% of our regular business, of our retail businesses are closed by 6 p.m. Restaurants and everything else is open. Are you going to get sales initially? Probably not. That's why I say it's an investment. Okay? But if you find, and if we could collectively find 1 day a week to start and say, every Thursday is Moonlight Madness. We used to have Moonlight Madness sales downtown all the time, right? They would stay open until 10, 11 o'clock. I'm not saying go that far, but maybe every Thursday is late night shopping downtown. Everybody commits for 14 weeks, not for 2, 14 weeks. And understand you're not going to get anything for the first 5. You might get 1 customer. You stay open and stay consistently, you can rebuild that trust and get people to come downtown. And they're already here, right? We know they're already here. We just have to get them to a little more farther down. That's why parking problems are a really good problem to have, because they park in other places and they walk by the stores. Downtown Adrian, the farthest, I told Bryan this, and I think I told Sheila. So when I first started my job, I was listening, I was on this training class, and then the trainer was talking about a city in North Carolina, talking about the value of downtown properties versus Walmart. And what they did is they took a Walmart and overlaid the footprint over the downtown and showed how many businesses were there and what the price per square foot and people lived there and everything, and how much taxes downtown pay versus Walmart. But everybody thinks Walmart's a better value, is better for the community, which in reality is really not. That's a whole other conversation. But they were talking about parking and they laid it over, and I'm like, I should do that for downtown Adrian. So I did. And I didn't take the whole Walmart parking lot. I took a good portion of it and put it over downtown. I put the back wall of Walmart on Church Street. Now, think about that's where milk is in Walmart, right? If you went from the middle of the parking lot and walked to the back of Walmart to get milk, where in downtown do you think that your walk will start? You're walking from behind the Croswell all the way to Church Street to get milk from Walmart, but you can't park a half a block away from the store you wanna go shop. So I know I'm preaching to the choir, it's everywhere, but that's the kind of mentality we have to enlighten people, you know, just, hey, understand, you'll walk to Starbucks milk, but you won't walk to a store that you know you wanna go to. You know, it's not like you're like, well, it's always, well, I'll go there someday when there's better parking available, like, better parking means right in front of the store. Not like just around the corner or half a block. Think about larger cities you go to. I go to Ann Arbor, if I park in a parking structure that's 5 blocks from where I'm going, and I'm paying $25, I'm pretty happy about that, right? And I probably don't even wanna go where I'm wanting to go, because it's a meeting usually. That's the same thing. Free parking, easily accessible, no hills, no stairs, pretty much a direct line into. I'm just gonna print those off and give them all.
Well, so here's where I put my communications hat, right? Like, this is where, if there's a consortium of downtown businesses that meet once a month, that goes into a talking points document that I make sure every one of the businesses have. Like, here is something that when you're talking to people, you like, even just your friends, right? Just start by talking to your friends about that. Like, oh, did you know? Like, isn't that crazy? And all of a sudden they start talking about it to their friends, and they like, all of a sudden that narrative gets out, and it's just, you don't even have to necessarily talk about it all the time in your business. Obviously, it becomes something you can talk about to customers, but you got to be careful not to get too negative around your customers, right? Because then all of a sudden they start to have a sour taste that you're only ever feeding me negative information. Even though it may be positive overall for downtown, you gotta be careful how you do that.
Park downtown and visit Walmart.
Boom. Yeah. Hey, did you know that if you go to Walmart to get that, you're actually walking farther than if you just park a block away from our store or a block away from their store? And we've got all these other fun stores that you can hook your head in and get stuff at too. You're supporting local economy. So.
The other thing that I just wanna say real quick is that the cities are, not only, you know, holding these events or doing the marketing, but they're also providing some opportunities for activities for that event in your store, such as, I'll give you an example, like with downtown for Mother's Day, correct me if I'm wrong, they had all these stores with bunches of flowers. And if you walked to the participating stores, you walked in, you got a flower, by the end of your trip downtown, you had this beautiful bouquet of flowers. Right now. Like, am I right on that?
Yeah, it was a paid event, but yes, but yeah, we did that.
Okay, so if you do have an opportunity to have a part of the event be at your store where people are walking in to grab your flower, even if they walk in and walk out, guess what? Women, our eyes are open. Even if we're walking in and walking out, get our flower, we've scanned the store, trust me. And, we have made a mental note to come back later, so, it's always good, and you do scavenger hunts and Adrian too. So anytime that you can be part of the activity where people are coming in your store, bonus. And I know when you participate, that's fun, because I can constantly see your name on there.
Yeah.
It's like you know somebody who's at the city.
She doesn't get any free rides out.
But it does, and I tell Jake all the time, we have so many people that will come in on First Fridays that do not buy, but they are there that Saturday or they're there that following, week. Who are like, I wanted to get stuff up and don't want to carry it around, but I'm coming back. Some will, some won't, but majority of them have come back. So even if it is, like you said, not that day where they come back, they will come back. And I'd rather them almost to come back because they typically spend more at that point. Versus I'm just gonna try to carry bags and don't carry it all the way downtown.
Well, I think from the Mother's Day event, right, the following Tuesday, Monday or Tuesday, somebody came back and bought the grocery food.
Yeah. Like, I didn't realize we had all the stuff. Didn't realize they were all the grocery shopping, you know, so, yeah, so being involved, as much as it is sometimes a pain in my rear end, because I forget to fill out forms all the time, until like the last minute, it's really important because it does get them in, and I will always do like, even if it does require me to staff, I will always participate because it does get them into the store, and I much rather have them in my store than out. But I don't know what you guys do for the scavenger hunt. I asked her to make my questions where they actually have to come in and take a picture. And they can't guess the answer. They can't have the As like,
We also have a new software program that we've got to top data, we gotta go back and audit all the things in there. And the program's called Virality, and what it does is, right, it helps us, but it also, it helps us internally with some management, but there's also some features that will come out of it. And so, like, right now, we use a Google form to get everybody's participation. What'll happen is we'll send an email out that says participate, you fill out your information, that comes back, and then it helps us create a map that's interactive, so they can click on your store and say, oh, what does Prosultina have, and see, oh, and here's what they say about their store for this event. And so it's actually a digital map that's created where instead of we're just listing everything, it becomes a little more interactive, and they can actually have that on their device and have that kind of thing. So we've got a little more editing, how we want to do it, and to make sure it's right. We dump a big CSV file, and anybody includes data and understand that in there, so.
Doesn't necessarily land where it's supposed to.
Right.
Yeah. So next week, list of topics that I plan to cover, debriefing from events, post-event follow-up and retention, future event prep, and then beyond the event, kind of playing the long game beyond the events. Any question?
Does Tecumseh do anything, surveying, after the event, do they reach out to you and say, hey, how was this event? And then did you see an increase in sales or walk, is it on a regular basis, or is it just occasional, or?
So he sends us a survey, and then we host the like CBA team meetings where we discuss the events. None of them come, but.
Well, participation is the challenge always, right? But if we can get the data at least, then we can collectively send out information. And part of this new software that we have gives us a mechanism to do that. And so even if we can put it on a dashboard somewhere that just the business owner's gonna see, it gives you more feedback and more information.
Yeah, they kind of, we never see them, they don't, she kind of like feels cold about it. Surveys.
yeah. I mean, she bases her decisions off of, I guess, what people will say, like, you know, for the following the events and things, but.
Anybody have any other questions? Feel free, my business cards are over there, samples of our handouts are over there.
Next week.
Sounds like next week I need to bring some sausage.
Yes. Cause it is like dinner time, you know, we need something to